Have you ever wanted to rebrand your shop?
Do you know who printed the Taylor Swift hoodies?
I want to know. After this episode, I want to know. Do you know what Print Girl Mafia is?
Have you ever wanted to call a hater and burp in their voicemail?
This sounds personal. If you do, then this show is the one for you.
Welcome to Last Call for Plastisol. Hey guys, welcome to Last Call for Plastisol. I'm Christy Rossi.
Hey, and I'm Jeremy Ray. And today...
Episode 3.
Episode 3. How cool is that? Who's on our episode today?
Today, one of my favorite people, Nikki from Cotton Street Apparel and Print Girl Mafia.
Print Girl Mafia. Lots to talk about there.
Or maybe you shouldn't be talking about
Or maybe I shouldn't be talking about Print Girl Mafia at all. Okay, well, I think it's going to be a great episode, and I can't wait to get to it. But first, I wanted to share some maybe possible news about an upcoming show that's pretty exciting in Charlotte.
Oh.
Graphics Pro Expo.
Graphics Pro Expo. I think it'll be the week this episode airs, too.
The week this episode airs. So if you're seeing this episode right now...
Get in your car.
And drive to Charlotte. Why would they drive to Charlotte?
Well, one, we are on the panel on April 28th, which is amazing.
Yes, which is the Friday that it drops.
More people want to hear us talk.
Right. So if you're just tuning in this morning.
Yeah. Get in the car.
Get in the car now. But so we're on an experts panel.
Yes, we're on.
What are we experts at?
Screen printing and running screen printing businesses.
Okay.
So.
I believe you.
Yes.
And however exciting that is, there's also something else exciting about the show, because we're going to be doing what at the
we are going to be podcasting live from the expo. The date and time will be on our Instagram, so check that out. But come on by. We're going to have t-shirts.
Yes, we're going to give away free stuff.
Probably some other stuff to give away.
Absolutely.
But we are going to have two different shirts. One that is my kind of thing and one that is your kind of thing.
Yep. Stay tuned for that fun thing.
So, why don't we get into our sponsors today?
Yeah, let's do a read real quick. So, our first sponsor today is Monarch Ink. Monarch Color Corporation manufactures some of the highest quality and most innovative Plastisol inks currently on the market. Monarch offers a full line of ready-for-use inks, finished ink blending systems, which I have right behind me, and pigment dispersion blending systems. There's a lot of big words in this one.
It is.
All of which are available in standard and low cure temperatures, which is, I couldn't think of it last time, but it's great because if you're printing on poly, you need low cure ink.
Yes, or you will regret it.
Or you will regret it. And these things, it just does what it's supposed to do. It's really good ink. You guys, you should try it. Interested in giving Monarch a try? Head on over to monarchcolor.com to take a look at all the product offerings and check out the distributor page to find a distributor near you. Monarch Color, we're ink people and we know color. Who's the distributor near us, Christy?
Well, Aaron at Blue Ridge Screen Products. Are you looking to up your print game? Are you wondering if there's a better process to improve your overall print? Are there products that can help you produce more in a shorter amount of time? Always what I want to do.
Yep.
Talk to one of our textile print advisors at Blue Ridge Screen Products and see if they can help you improve your print game. Or just go to their website, www.blueridgescreenproducts.com, and shop for some of the best products in the industry. Use Last Call 10 at checkout to receive 10% off your order. It works. I just tried it last week and got my own mixing system. Start partnering with your textile print advisor today.
That's cheating. That's cheating.
You knew I was going to use a coupon.
That was so cheating. Let me order the expensive one and get 10% off. Yes. Aaron's like, great. Thanks, guys.
I'm probably the only one that's used it so far.
No. We had another episode.
Good.
You know what? We didn't say it in the first episode, though.
No.
So you probably are. Use Last Call 10 and get 10% off, y'all.
It's not a scam. It works.
It works. So do that. And Christy, I know you've taped a screen before without PMI tape, right?
Yes, I can be cheap sometimes.
Yeah. So me too. And it's just nothing, stands up to PMI tape. And there's a reason why. Because PMI tape is specifically formulated and designed for the screen printing industry to help increase the efficiency of your shop. PMI tape will always peel cleanly with no sticky mess to clean up. So don't make the mistake that we made and try to tape screens with anything other than PMI tape.
No way. You know, guys, the screen cleaning job is the least glorified job in the shop. Don't make it any harder, please.
PMI tape, roll with efficiency.
Perfect.
And today we have Nikki Bowen from Cotton Street Apparel and Print Girl Mafia.
Print Girl Mafia.
Hi.
So I think we were going to talk about a lot of stuff today, but I think...
Did you guys just see that? I just tried to take a sip from the wrong end. It's going to be a good episode.
So, all right. So I do want to talk about Print Girl Mafia. I want to talk about one extra thing right now. We do have beers today.
You guys have beer.
We have beers, and that's why I want to explain. Christy, tell us what you got going on.
I'm doing like a cleanse. I don't know why I'm choosing to do this right now. I'm really questioning my life choices, but I'm on a cleanse. So I'm not drinking alcohol today.
You're not drinking alcohol today, and that's perfectly fine.
For 14 days.
Oh,
I didn't know if I was full disclosure. This is like the morning or early afternoon.
It's Good Friday.
It's Good Friday that we're filming this, and last night I went out to dinner thinking that I was just gonna have a beer and have food truck and be all good, and I ended up in a karaoke bar. Singing Sweet Caroline.
Yes.
So
Oh my gosh, I hope there's video of this.
Isn't there always a Sweet Caroline though?
Yeah,
Every
for sure.
piano
You
bar,
have to.
every karaoke.
yeah, absolutely.
and
Yeah.
Where did you guys go for karaoke?
Ready Player One,
Oh, okay. I've
which
never
is
been
like
there.
a arcade,
Yeah,
adult
isn't that a
arcade,
movie, too?
21 and over. Then it's not that. Player One Up.
Okay,
It's in Rock Hill.
cool.
Yeah. So Print Girl Mafia.
Print Girl Mafia.
So you are an OG
I
of
am.
Print Girl Mafia. So I want to know, because I think there's some confusion out there.
Okay.
Maybe there is, maybe there's not.
Maybe it's just Jeremy.
Well, I want to talk to the
Is it
Chris.
because you're not allowed to be on the Facebook
It's
page?
really,
Is why
that
you're
has a
confused?
lot to do with it.
We
No,
still love you.
thank you. Thank you. I've been told several times I can't be in it.
I probably was the one that denied it.
You did. Yeah. No, I'm joking. I haven't tried. I really haven't tried. But I think that there's a lot of people out there that think, and listen, I'm just going to come up with, like, we're going to say you at home, your name, I'm just going to pick a random name. Your name is Christy.
What? That's my name.
And, well, let me explain. I don't want Christy to, like, come in and go, oh, there's a Print Girl Mafia, can I join? And then have a really awkward conversation with, like, let's say Nikki, and Nikki says, no, go find your own Print Girl Mafia.
No.
That didn't actually happen.
We would never do that.
So I want to make sure that there's knowledge of what Print Girl Mafia is. So what is not Print Girl Mafia, and then what is Print Girl Mafia?
I don't know that there is a not version of Print Girl
Okay.
Mafia right now. We never anticipated for Print Girl Mafia to be anything other than our text chat.
Okay.
We went to Long Beach in 2022. Yes. We were a little girl gang. We had our jackets. We made an Instagram. We just wanted to go have fun
Yeah.
with our friends,
A club.
hop around. Yeah, we're a little girl gang.
Right.
You know, made our jackets.
Go to
You
the
gotta
happy
get,
hours.
You gotta get beat in. You
Yeah.
know. But no. And then what happened in that one weekend was our Instagram account just started to grow.
Yeah.
We didn't try to do anything. We had a lot of women approach us during that trade show and really talk about their experiences in the industry and say, we love what you're doing. And I was like, well, we're not really doing anything. You know, we're
Right.
just walking around a trade show taking shots at people's booths.
Right.
Like, we just want to do what we want to do.
Right.
You know?
Very
And
Mafia
so-
style.
Yes.
Yeah. So we kind of came back from ISS, and I think we had all had a personal experience there. And we did an episode with Shirt Show, just kind of a recap of what ISS was like that year.
Yep.
We jumped on our own little happy hour that we do, usually monthly, and we all kind of talked about what ISS was like and the stories that we had heard. And we kind of said, well, you know, we're going to create this.
Yep.
It's something that's missing in the industry. And obviously, whatever we're creating right now is naturally evolving and it's organic. And that's exactly how we wanted it to stay.
Okay.
So year one, we had zero plans. All we knew was we wanted to create a community of support for anyone that may need it. We all kind of came about in our text chat.
As long as you're a woman.
As long as you're a woman.
No, that's good.
You
Yeah.
guys have your own.
Sorry,
groups.
Jeremy.
You guys have.
Yes.
You guys have screen printing shittiest.
Continue. This isn't Slam the Man podcast.
No. But
We may have been at brunch before this.
yeah, we might have.
Okay.
No mimosas though.
No.
We messed up.
Yeah. The
So-
cleanse again.
So we said, okay, everybody wants to join our text chat now. Like we
Yeah.
were getting requests left and right, and I'm like, you can't have that many people on a text chat. There's days I look at our text
Oh, that's
chat. There's
bad.
200 messages in there. It's on silent for a reason, so
Yeah.
I can check it when I have time to.
Right.
So we created our Facebook page. The idea behind the closed Facebook page was to take our chat group and create that same vibe on a bigger scale.
Gotcha.
So the goal with the closed Facebook page was to create that safe space for people to come in, talk about their problems, even if it's personal. Sometimes as women, we have really hard days.
Yeah.
There's a loneliness factor in being a female sometimes that is not really talked about. And that's something that we've all kind of discussed more recently too. You could be, I was telling her this morning, you could be the female owner of a shop and have all guys that work for you, and they could love you. And you could love them. You could all get
Yeah.
along. But as a female, there is still a loneliness factor sometimes of not knowing where to go and who to talk to, especially if you don't have friends that are business owners. So we really wanted to create that. My hope is that people will join the closed Facebook page. They will get to know each other. They'll make friends that they've never had, just like we did, and they'll create their own little text chats
Yes.
of community and support, you know? But then also, we are always approachable.
Right. And I feel like that's the important thing. Like, I do see you guys at events, saw you at Print Hustlers, up at the bar at the, what was it, like one of the first happy hours or something?
Yeah.
I think at Print Hustlers, we went from Printed Threads, which had a happy hour at
yeah.
Printed Threads,
Right.
to like, he was like, all right, Uber to the next happy hour. So we Ubered from one happy hour to another happy hour.
We should just start doing beer crawls.
It was
I love that
dynamic.
idea. All in one
The pub crawl.
Yeah, I'll put that in. I'll be
Yes.
like, guys, can we just do a pub crawl?
Let's just do a pub crawl.
Printed onesies.
Oh,
And you get patches.
No, she wants to start a different club. Okay.
you want
I wasn't-
to
we-
furry club?
You went.
I like to escalate things.
Yes. What are those things called where you wear the full,
It's furries.
the furries? Is that what they are?
Yeah.
All right. So
I think a
Wow.
furry is a different thing.
we just
We're
went,
not on the.
we just went a different way, didn't we?
That's a whole another
We're gonna
escalation
go
point.
into furry manufacturing
So,
now.
but yeah, so I saw you guys at the shows. I saw, and that's the one thing. Like, I was at Long Beach, and you guys were doing the Shirt Show podcast, or you were in that booth area doing your thing, and they were like, "Hey, we're going to your open house or whatever." Like, and I was like, "What? Like me?" I'm like, you guys are chatty. You're approachable, right? You said that,
Yeah.
and that's good. So, Sally, maybe let's call her Sally.
Yeah, can we not call
Sally.
her Christy?
Yeah, I was just joking. I think Christy.
There
yeah.
are 1 million names to choose
No,
from.
I know. I was just playing. But Sally might want to, talk to you guys. And so, Sally, you're completely free.
And
to
what I
approach.
will
Sally
say
can do
is,
that.
when I went to ISS, I saw you guys there, and it's such a cute little group and everything. But I did feel a little intimidated, just like walking up and being like, "Hey, I'm Christy," and we all know the same people.
I would have felt intimidated too.
Yeah.
I think, but again, that's a female thing.
It is, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and we're trying to kill that. We're trying to create that vibe to where no one feels intimidated when they go to shows, and they feel confident, and they feel like they matter just as much as the $10 million shop over here does.
And I feel like that's what we want to do with the podcast too. Is we want to make these smaller shops, these brand new shops coming up, like, feel comfortable talking about
Yeah,
things.
Yeah.
And
we're all just people.
we're all just people. Yeah. So you do have a mission. I mean, I can see you taking this a lot, like, far.
Yeah,
like,
we
you
can.
literally could.
Yeah. That's what this is year 2.
Yeah.
So year 1 was, let's just see how this evolves. We're not going to force anything. I spent a lot of time telling people last year it'll happen when it happens. And that's exactly how I feel about it. So year 2 is we've started our podcast, which right now is monthly.
It's called the Happy Hour, right?
Yeah, it's called the Happy Hour.
Awesome.
We started our podcast, airs monthly. Eventually, it will be more.
Awesome.
And there's another side spinoff coming that I'm not
I was trying to hold my burp in. I'm looking at your tattoo.
Started?
So it's you guys are dedicated.
Yeah,
Yes.
you've
You're
got
all
a Print
in.
Girl
This
Mafia
will be a
tattoo.
year old in May.
Awesome. I love it.
That's
I'm
commitment.
I'm a tattoo guy.
Me too.
So great. And then all right, so we talked about Print Girl Mafia. Christy.
And so next I'd like to talk about Cotton Street Apparel because you do other things like print shirts.
I do. We all do. We all have a job outside of Print Girl Mafia.
Yeah, and I think that's important to talk about too because your shop is in Winston-Salem, so you're also in North Carolina.
Yep.
I guess I'm in South Carolina and you're in South Carolina.
The
but
Carolinas.
Close enough.
We're close
We're in the
enough.
Carolinas.
Carolina
They
Panthers
kinda-
claim both states. We can too.
They kind of
Sure.
just melded together.
So you're right up the
don't know
road.
if I
They
Like,
should have taken that stadium and they should have taken that stadium and did what Carowinds. Like Carowinds is half and half.
yeah.
They
Yes.
should have.
Jeremy's a little bitter because the practice facility was supposed
Literally,
to be right
it's
down the
supposed
road.
to. It was literally out my back door. I could look at the building, and now it's demolished.
They should have put Bank of America Stadium half and half.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Literally down the 50-yard line. It should have been like for South Carolina, you sit on this side. If you're from North Carolina, you sit on this side.
You know, Black and Decker was like that too.
Really?
Like they had 2 different employment offices because they split right down the middle. They were on the state line,
I did not know that.
which is right across the street
That's
from
a fun
Carowinds.
fact.
That's a fun fact.
So you're right up the road in Winston-Salem, and you used to be Machine Gun Graphics.
We did.
How long have you guys been in business?
You're violent.
I mean, yeah. I didn't.
Yeah.
I
You've got
didn't think-
mafias and original gangsters and
You know,
machine guns.
People used to call our shop all the time and ask us what kind of bullets we had. I never had to turn on the news. I knew when something bad was happening in our country because we would start getting phone calls asking if people needed a permit to buy a gun
Oh wow.
or what guns we had in stock or what bullets we had we could sell them that day.
Yeah.
I never had to watch the news. I just knew. So I'd go home and I'd look it up. I'm like, yep, something happened.
You know
today.
what? I really like that story because I have things with my name of my company, Snatch and Run. So I get all kinds of
Yep.
jokes that people think are funny, and I don't anymore. And, you know,
Okay, I won't try.
These
snatch
people-
and grab.
These people
Like-
were serious. It wasn't joke calls. They really wanted to pick
No,
something
yeah,
up that
absolutely.
day.
Yeah.
No, I can imagine. So then that prompted you to change your name?
Not immediately. So originally, Kyle originally named the business in his like late teens.
Okay.
Why did he pick that name?
You know what? A friend told him that he was pumping out T-shirts the same way that a machine gun rapid
Ooh,
fires.
that's a fun story.
Isn't it?
Okay.
So yeah, and it has a story. There's a reason why the name of the shop was what it was, and it made sense until it no longer made sense. Like as we've changed as a world, as we've evolved, you know, it's not necessarily a name that everybody like gravitates towards.
Yeah.
The other thing is it's got the word graphics at the end of it. When I was in retail, we did call T-shirts graphic T-shirts. All your signage said graphic T-shirts.
Yep.
Now when you go to a store, they don't say that anymore. When
Yeah.
somebody sees the word graphic or graphics, they automatically assume you do graphic design.
Yeah, I never thought about that before.
We
but
don't
you're
do
right.
in-house graphic design.
Right.
We are more of a print shop versus a design shop.
Okay.
So that was factor number one. Factor number two was there was business we wanted to go after that we felt like we really could not approach with the name that we already had. Factor number three is we're not just a screen printing shop anymore. We truly are a decorated apparel company. We're doing screen printing. We're doing specialty screen printing. We're doing sewing patches on hats. We're doing embroidery. We're doing finishing services. I mean, sublimation. There's so much that we do now
Yeah.
compared to how we started.
Yeah.
And as the industry evolves, you're going to be doing more.
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
And we also wanted to create more of a national vibe name. You know, we're really spending this year looking outside of our city in ways to gain more business.
Right.
And you really need a new vibe and a new name that kind of goes along with that.
Yeah, reset sometimes is really good for tax reasons.
Yeah.
You can pretty much clear the slate tax wise if you rebrand.
Well, see, here's the thing though.
But if you have an LLC,
We are still, and I'll tell you, we are still Machine Gun Graphics LLC.
there you go.
You
Yeah.
do not want to get rid of that parent name.
Yeah.
Right. You have to
Because
keep the LLC.
there's a lot of equity that's already built up
Yep.
in that name. You got to think that name has been LLC since at least 2007.
Yeah.
That's a lot of equity and a lot of time that you've spent building that name, that reputation. Financially speaking, if you want to take loans and
Yeah.
you're in good standing under that name,
Yep.
you go get what you need.
Yeah.
Now, if we took the new name, which is Cotton Street Apparel, and try to go get a loan today with that, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Cotton Street
Yeah.
Apparel is a DBA. Mm-hmm. So you kind of create just like that path.
I like that. And I like this story because as Snatch and Run, I've tried to rebrand a couple of times on my own. I bought the URL Charlotte Screen Printing and got a logo made, everything, and tried to go with it because as we got more corporate clients.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it was, for me, not who I was. It wasn't the pink shop. It wasn't anything like that. It wasn't this like girl brand. So it just felt kind of inauthentic for me. And I don't know why I spent all that money trying to rebrand to
Right.
something that I'm not.
Yeah.
But you've been very successful in your rebranding. Like, what do you attribute that success to?
We took it out of house.
Okay.
We didn't try to rebrand ourselves.
Okay.
We let a professional ad agency that we actually work with as well take on that task. We sat down with them and had a couple like preliminary conversations. Unfortunately, they already know us as a business, so they know what our work speaks to. So there were questions they didn't have to ask us, but really we sat down, we talked about our business, we talked about the things that we do now versus what we used to do, and we came up with a concept, and we just let them have it all. I mean, we didn't even come up with the new name or the icons of it. We allowed them to 100% turnkey create all the new branding, all the new marks, the new website, all of it.
That's a lot of trust.
It is a lot
It
of
is.
trust, but here's what's insane. Cotton Street Apparel. So simple, right?
Yeah.
It's great. I love it.
Our physical street address is 610 Cotton Street. I am so mentally busy and exhausted every single day when I go home from work. I would have never come up with something so simple.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
okay. So let's take my name. Right. It's just marketing 101.
Yeah.
Really, when it boils down to it, like, where are you at and what do you do?
yeah.
Yeah.
So Cotton Street actually is pretty brilliant because
Yeah.
you're at Cotton Street, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you do decorated apparel, right? So awesome.
And
Rock
I think
Hill,
Rock Hill screen printing works for you because you're like Captain Rock Hill.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
you like to be in the community. You like
Yep.
it's you.
But I will say one thing about us being Cotton Street Apparel, we also own our building.
Okay.
So I would not suggest anybody that rents a space
To
name
call
their
your name,
shop
right.
something like that. You know
yeah,
what
you
I
don't,
mean?
there's no
Like,
plans to move.
No,
Right,
yeah, like
right.
there's no plans for us to move.
That's a
we are
good
in that
point, yeah.
location. So.
Well, and that's interesting you say that because I was looking for a building and the one that came up was in Indian Land and Jill's like, what are we going to do? My wife Jill's like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're going to be Rock Hill Screen Printing
Yeah,
in
in
Indian
Indian
Land.
Land. Yeah.
Because we're not changing.
You could.
that. You could, but yeah. But it's, again, if you're online and you're looking for a screen printer in Rock Hill,
Yeah.
you get it.
Or you could also keep this location as a place where your
Exactly.
customers come and pick up their garments and just literally create a production facility
Yep.
in another location. You could do
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you hired this agency, like what were some of the challenges in working with the agency to do the rebranding?
We were fortunate that we didn't have a lot of challenges. You know, we really, if it wasn't for the fact that we worked with this particular agency, what I would do is I would have looked for an agency that fit our vibe. They
Yeah.
fit like our age range, our vibe. They understand the client base that we're trying to go after, and they're not just cookie cutter. I would have also looked for an ad agency that's completely turnkey, not somebody who's just going to create you one logo
Right.
with a new name. You want to have a whole branding package as a screen printing shop. You know, like you think about it, like I really wanted them to create several different marks across the board since we do offer so many services as a business now. If I were to show you like our actual branding packet set out, I asked them to create branding that I could use across the board. So some of our logos are for t-shirt only. Some were designed to be a patch.
Yeah.
Some were designed to be pins.
No.
That's great.
And
That's
my
important.
goal with that is a lot of times customers don't understand when they come to you with just their one logo. They do not understand how that like elongated logo this big will not work in an area this big.
Yeah.
And I wanted to really have a visual to show people as I'm talking to them when they come into the shop of like, hey, you know what, maybe we need to add some logos. We could take this, move it around a little bit and recreate it so it could do this. So I went into this with a goal in mind from a customer's perspective right away.
I think that's an excellent point because I've said the same thing to my customers, like your logo just doesn't look right on this, but I don't have those other marks for my shop either. So it's like,
so they probably I think they created a lot more for us than what they would have created for most of the clients they would typically deal with. And it's because I requested certain things as the decorator's perspective.
So for me, that would be an ideal client though.
Yeah.
You know, I think that they would get into, I mean, we've all been there as screen printers. We get these artwork requests and they're like, well, that's great. Show me what else you got.
Yeah.
Right. And, oh, that's great. Show me what else you got. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So
what do you want?
Jerry's like, this isn't for
No,
anymore.
but the end thing is the end result is like, as a screen printer, as somebody that's dealing with somebody that doesn't know what they want, you want to go, tell me what you want.
Yeah.
What you really, really want.
So
Yeah.
Right?
And we'll knock it out. Yeah.
And we'll knock it out.
So we sat down, we had a couple of conversations with them, conference style. You know, originally we had also kind of talked about just rebranding Machine Gun Graphics. You know what I mean? Because at that point, we didn't have a new name. We didn't
name
know where we
equity,
wanted to
yeah.
go.
Right.
And we kind of said, well, maybe we just need some stuff to go along with Machine Gun Graphics. So the beauty of working with this company is that we showed up to look at the concepts, and they gave us 4 different concepts.
Oh, wow.
They took Machine Gun Graphics and they tried really hard, and they did a great job, but you could really see the lack of what you were able to accomplish with the name.
Yeah.
Then they just took the word machine, added some stuff to it, created some marks to go along with that. It was all awesome.
Yeah.
And we had one more, and then we rolled into Cotton Shoot Apparel, and it was immediate. It was like,
Just
that's
loved it.
the one.
It's like, that's the one. Yep.
Like, love the marks, love the idea of black, white, and gold. It creates a high-end feel.
Yep.
It makes me more confident when I'm talking to customers now about our brand and who we are. And I think it filters out a lot of the clientele that we don't want.
Yeah.
So, historically, is cotton a commodity in Winston-Salem, or is?
Well, you know, we do have this amazing company called Hanes.
Yeah.
And as weird as it is, they kind of used to use that area that my shop is in,
Yeah.
Cotton Street.
Yep. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. they
So
used
it's
to
all-
use-
it's all related.
There's
That's
a creek.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I didn't know all of this till about 5 years ago when we tried to purchase another building and we were looking at naming that building. But there is a creek
Okay.
that runs back behind our shop through a couple of other areas, and that's where they used to actually clean and rinse cotton.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
See,
cool.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So I
That's
don't-
like social media gold right there.
Yeah.
Right? And so I just showed this to Aaron from Monarch. Actually, you'll have to ask him. I took him and drove him around the back way. There's a couple of houses back there still, which is where Hanes employees used to live at.
Yeah. So here's the interesting thing about Rock Hill is that, you know, this is a textile area. So this entire Fort Mill was a mill town. So it was created around companies to basically Springs being a manufacturer of textiles in the U.S. and then eventually shipped overseas, right? So they did all the
cool.
sheets and pillows and cases and all that kind of stuff. But Rock Hill was the decorating, printing.
Really?
So there is still the stacks that where you stayed at the hotel you stayed at when you came to our open house. Those stacks behind there is still says Rock Hill Printing and Finishing Company.
That's cool.
Right, so it's literally since the 1900s, early 1900s, 1800s, early 1900s, was a facility for dyeing, you know, the textiles that were being made locally and decorating them.
That's cool.
It was one of
That
the
is
first.
cool.
So, like printing presses for paper, they were doing it with textiles and literally pumping out decorated material sheets, things like that.
That's cool.
So when I said Rock Hill screen printing, they were like, you're only 2 words off from the brand that's been around in this area for forever, which was Printing and Finishing Company. And so I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So you can go down RHS, whatever, and it's got the stacks are
North
still there.
Carolina as a whole is a big textile state. Asheboro actually still has a lot of textile.
Yeah.
And at Winston, we've become more medical
Okay.
based.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense.
We have 4 small colleges in the area that kind of, you know, equate to one big college town. So
Yep.
When the kids are in school, we're a town that's packed out. When the kids aren't in school, it's kind of a
Is
dead
that where
feeling summer.
Duke is? Duke
No, that's
or
No, it's in Chapel Hill.
Chapel. No, I know,
Or
but
Durham.
our hospital.
Yeah.
Is there a hospital in Winston-Salem?
We have Wake Forest Baptist.
Wake
And we have
Forest.
Novant. So we have
Okay.
two.
I'm thinking of the wrong one. but yeah.
So our podcast is primarily for like beginning to intermediate screen printer or size shops. So if someone's just starting out in the screen printing industry, do you have any tips on like how to name a shop, or should they? I mean, people can't really hire an ad agency from the beginning.
No.
So, and I know you jumped on with Kyle,
Yep. In 2015.
so you kind of came into the Machine
Yeah.
Gun Graphics name. Do you have any tips? Because you've been around a while too.
Yeah, I mean, don't always try to localize your name.
Mm-hmm.
I notice that a lot of shops, when they're just starting out, they really make their name seem really small and really local.
Mm-hmm.
If you only ever want local business, then that's cool, but I like to think bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, one of the first things that I did when I came into our shop was I just flooded Instagram, because at that point, Instagram was still, as long as you were posting in hashtags, you were getting exposure.
Yeah.
And my goal became to post something every single day and make us look bigger than we were,
Right.
which worked. Because customers always want to work with a shop that they think is knowledgeable and big and that everybody else is working with.
Yeah.
So,
I tell people that all the time too. Like
Yeah.
Instagram is this thing that for someone starting a business can make or break
yeah.
you. Like
choose
you've
a
got to be
name-
on it.
Yeah, choose a name that speaks to you. Spend some time on it. And choose something that you feel like you could take as a national name one day and not be pigeonholed into just your
Yeah.
local economy. Some of these people that are in these small towns, you would be surprised when you drive through some of these little small, like 50 to 70,000, like, you know, population towns. There are some massive screen printing shops in those towns.
Yeah. So I came from the engineering world, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have like personal stories. Before I started my LLC for the screen printing, I had Big Fat Tree Creative Design. Well, the Big Fat Tree was just basically a tree that was out in front of my neighborhood that all the kids met at every single day. We were like, we're going to meet at the Big Fat Tree, and then we're going to figure out what we're doing for today. So like it was a heart thing for me.
Yeah,
It's like
I like that.
Big Fat Tree Creative Design. I'm like, nobody knows except for me what that means. And so I was like I was in engineering, but doing that on the side. And then I was like, you know what? I'm in engineering, and what's a cool engineering transition name into doing something different? So I was like, oh, cogwheel. A cogwheel is a gear. I'm going to be called Cogwheel Creative. And nobody knows what the heck a cogwheel is.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is the worst name in the history of names. But I thought it was cool at the time because I had no clue what I was doing in that. I actually think Big Fat Tree is better than Cogwheel.
I like Big Fat
I do too,
Tree.
actually.
But I ended up doing, I just renamed it. I basically had an LLC at that point. And so my LLC was Cogwheel Creative.
Is
And I
it
was
still
like,
that?
It's my LLC is still Cogwheel Creative, but I do business as Rock Hill Screen Printing.
Yeah.
So that you guys at home, Sally, you can take your whatever name that you think that's not so great and just be like, well, that's my LLC, but I'm doing business as, and actually doing business as costs you nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not North. Well, some states.
In
it's
South
different.
Carolina,
North-
it doesn't cost you
in
anything.
North Carolina
likes to get you where they can.
Well,
Yeah.
it doesn't cost you anything extra in North Carolina either, but I have seen that some states treat a DBA the same as they treat an LLC. So I've seen some people have
Yeah.
to file two sets of taxes. So
Oh,
I would
wow.
say
Oh, yeah.
talk to
Same.
your accountants, talk to your financial advisors, and look up your own state's regulations on that.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's good
Jeremy,
advice.
a couple of years, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, you came up with this octopus with the squeegees and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like, where did that all come from, that little icon?
Well, here's the thing. It's the machine that I bought, the auto I bought, had 8 arms,
Okay.
right? And so you start to think about 8 arms and the 8 arms doing different things. So I was like, oh, cool, octopus with arms and everything. Unfortunately, now you go to Long Beach, or you go to any show, and every single manufacturer's got an octopus.
Yeah, ink.
And so I came home in ink, right? And I came home and I was like, we got to take the octopus down. Like, we can't have a bunch of people in our shop with the octopus still up.
Yeah.
And then we just ran out of time. So,
I like the
but it's on my
Yeah.
box. Like,
Yeah,
so
you can't really get
I've
rid of
already
them.
spent my my money on
leave it.
a plate for the box, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to change that. But yeah, there's I think, you know, before you even do like a mascot, I think we're talking about branding. You know, you have
I've got the little squeegee guy.
You got your squeegee guy.
Squeegee.
Printed
his name.
Threads has his, whatever their guy's name is. It starts with the P, but he's
like the
basically
little ink blob?
it's got a squeegee head.
Yeah.
And that was really cool, and that's where I got the inspiration for the boxes. Because they create that brand around that guy. So there's you going back to what you said about being purposeful, thinking through things, planning through things. Don't just choose a random name that doesn't make sense. Make something that can be brandable in the future, can go nationwide in the future. I think the same thing is true for a mascot.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I just keep on trying not to burp.
Just go over there.
And then my eyes water, and I'm like,
Just go over there and burp.
It's killing me.
We'll hear it still, but at least you'll be off
this thing.
camera.
I'm gassy. I'm sorry.
That's
Out of
how
the
we're
attic
gonna start
instead
this
of out
show.
of the
That's gonna be the
basement.
intro. Yeah, that's the intro.
Yeah.
You hear that? Yeah? Okay.
So I think with all of this, like putting thought into your brand and all of that, I think I just got lucky. And maybe all of it is kind of a little bit of luck with the brand and everything like that. But when you're first starting and you're trying to figure out what squeegee to use, what screen mesh to use, like how to print a shirt, it's really easy, by the way. And that's my famous last line is it's really easy to print a shirt.
There's no science involved whatsoever.
And then you're trying to figure out how to sell. You're trying to figure out how to communicate with customers. You've got all these like lists of things to do and like to get your business up and running. I think it's easy to put the branding of your business on the back burner until you figure out what's going on.
We, for the last 5 years, went back and forth. And you're absolutely right. We would look at it, and it was just exhausting. And I was like, I'll look at it later.
Yeah.
And so then we finally reached out to somebody else.
Yeah, and I think one thing that hit me when we were talking this morning is you're like, just outsource it to somebody that knows what they're doing. And you know what? Every time in my business where I've outsourced something to somebody who knows what they're doing and just spent the money, it's paid off in dividends.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to do that.
You're buying your time back. At
Yeah.
this point, like the stages that all three of our businesses are in, our time is like valuable.
Right.
And anything that we can offload or delegate out to somebody else, we should do that. You know,
Yeah.
don't be so egotistical about it and think that somebody else can't do it right. Train
Right.
them properly and they'll do it exactly how you want them to. But then it allows us to put more time and energy back into our business.
Absolutely.
That's me this year. I stepped off of production completely last year in my shop to do nothing but focus on our actual business. And going into a year where everybody's like really scared about what's going to happen, sales are down for a lot of people. I have worked really hard at the business that we've brought in this year, and I attribute that to taking my brain off of production and pushing it 100% onto our business.
Yeah, so let me ask you this, because you're a traveling person. You go to all the cool events.
The things.
You live
go
my
to the
dream life.
things.
I want to travel more.
You go to the things, so they're probably like, that girl, what does she do? Like that she just gets to do all that. That's right.
Gosh.
But you're known for the Print Girl Mafia.
Yes.
Not so much for Cotton Street in the industry side of things, because you're going to the event as Print Girl Mafia,
Correct.
right?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah. So what's the fine line there? Is there a fine line? Do you at some point where like that those two might not necessarily clash, but how do you put the effort into both?
So my shop is now 410s.
Okay.
So we run production Monday through Thursday, 10 hours a day. Fridays, we are completely closed.
I love that.
Right. So, but on Fridays, I still work from home, answering emails, dealing with customers, any kind of admin things. Anything that I need to do and concentrate on outside of the shop is like my Friday.
Yeah.
Print Girl Mafia takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and again, this goes back to me saying we didn't know what we wanted out of this and we didn't expect anything out of it, but what it's turned into for Christina and I, it's become a second full-time job.
Yeah.
It is a true labor of love.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Like, I am about it. I am a structure person. So I structure out my days.
Yeah.
And I basically say, like, all right, when I'm at the shop from this time to this time, it is all shop stuff. I pepper in some interviews here and there, or pepper in some conference calls here and there during my free time. But for the most part, I go home at night and work on Print Girl Mafia stuff, or I dedicate half of my Friday to Print Girl Mafia.
And so I find myself struggling with that. That's why I asked the question, because I'm Rock Hill Screen Printing, and I'm also
Podcast host.
Last call for Plastisol, right? And so now I find myself saying that when we're doing, hey, it's Jeremy from Rock Hill Screen Printing, and last
I had to
call
catch
for
myself on
Plastisol.
Instagram this week
Right?
too.
Yeah, because you know, but I feel like it's important. Both are important to me,
They are.
right? And I don't want to get to the point where one is more important and I'm lacking in the other, vice versa. So there is that fine line and that juggling act that, you know.
You have to structure your time. I mean, we've spent the last couple of years like really trying to train our staff to have all the knowledge that Kyle and I have and give that to them so that they can effectively do their jobs. And I'm restructuring. I was telling her this morning, I used to have this great structure, and then COVID happened and it tossed everything off to the side. I'm very ADHD. So structure is like what keeps me sane. I'm redoing my current structure right now, but it's something as simple as like, I have my days timed out. 8 to 9, I do this. 9 to 10, I do this. 10 to 11, I do this. So something as little as like the first thing I do when I come in the morning is I pull all POs from the day before and I order every single garment.
Yep.
I don't spend all day doing that. I did during COVID because we didn't have a choice, but I do that first thing in the morning. Then I'll take a certain amount of time and get in touch with our marketing team and talk to them or approve anything that they're sending over to me that's going to be sent out for emails. I work on social media for the shop. I work on any social media outlets we have, like Facebook, LinkedIn, like anywhere that we can kind of make connections at, you know, like as far as business goes.
Right.
We've been working with our marketing team now to create cold emails to start going
so
that
you're
route.
you're going outside sales.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's what I say. Like, this is the year that we are taking our shop and looking outside of our city because we're finally realizing that while our city is great, population wise, it is never going to support the amount of dollars that need to come into that business to create the shop that we are looking for.
Well, and we had talked about it earlier today where you've spent so many years like creating this shop with good equipment, efficiencies, everything's dialed in that way. Like you might have more work now, but you're working less time printing because you're so efficient now. So now it's time to take the turn and like really capitalize on the fruits of your labor, which I think is interesting. And I've heard around the industry too with a lot of the things that are coming out. You just got a screen coder and you're getting a reclaim, not a reclaim. You know, like these are going to free up so many man hours for you.
It will. Auto reclaim. So we've had that one in place since January of last year. What we would normally do in a day, we can do it in 2 hours.
Yeah. I'm so looking forward to that.
So basically, we've created like, I was telling her this morning, we are a fortunate shop. We are doing just as well, if not a little bit better, than we did last year.
Sure. Yeah, me too.
Which is great because we rolled into this year like not really knowing what to expect, like everybody else did. But we built so much capacity in just automations and just standardizing procedures last year that it's scary. Sometimes we're only actually printing 2 days a week right now, which is 22 hours because we're running 10-hour shifts.
Right.
But we're cleaning and maintaining on those other 2 days. So now I really am at a point where we could grow very easily because I've got 2 whole days of production that I can pack out. And it is weird sometimes because you have to go back and look at your numbers to realize like, oh, I am doing okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Calm that anxiety down.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have super anxiety.
I get there for sure.
Yeah, that's, I mean, my mind's racing in all kinds of directions now. Like, we could talk about so many different things, but we want to keep it focused.
Yeah.
We'll stick to the brand.
One of the things that I'm interested in is, like, you said you're kind of taking yourself more working on the business this year. Like, what is, like, the top 2 things that you're most excited about to, like, implement or start working on in your business?
Marketing was one. Historically, we've never done marketing before.
Yeah.
Everything our business has been built on has been word of mouth. But we really knew about mid-year last year that marketing was something we were going to have to finally dive into. And we employed an outside agency to do that. So we're not doing that within. Okay. We have like a a la carte style type marketing agency in town.
Okay.
Same one that did your branding, or a different one?
Different company.
Okay.
And we work with them for all of our marketing emails, any of the cold call emails, any other future marketing stuff we're going to be working on will be with them. The other thing is, historically, we haven't spent as much time with our clients, I think, as we would like to. We didn't do enough follow-ups on quotes. We didn't do enough checking in. We really did a lot of that during COVID, and it made a huge difference. So I built a lot of structure into this year's quoting system and into this year's follow-ups. And it's resulted in a lot more follow-through on much larger invoices than what we've seen in the past.
I love doing that. I love being out of the shop. I love going and visiting my customers, having a beer, going and playing golf, whatever. That's the part of screen printing that I love. It's just engaging with
building
customers.
Relationships. That's what it is. I mean,
it's absolutely what
we
it is.
had those relationships in the past. We kind of got away from it again. I think part of that was COVID, but it's building relationships. So that's something to focus on this year.
And that will take your marketing to the next level just because of the relationships, and then people's the word of mouth recognition, that kind of stuff is. And don't discount the fact that you're also the Print Girl Mafia and those types of things. You're out and about, so those types of things start to come back.
Do. But my town doesn't care about that.
Yeah, but what's the really interesting thing is that, because of the open house, the marketing of Rock Hill screen printing went out the roof.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
so,
I have that with the Gildan Board of Decorators too.
That's crazy.
There is kind of like this. Oh my gosh, what can I attribute? Like, did we really do all of that, or was that?
You're giving yourself a name. I'll tell you, like, one thing, talking about marketing and name changes and stuff like that. So we have a brand new website that goes with Cotton Street Apparel, right?
Right.
We still have our old promotional products website set up. The goal there is to spend the next year ensuring our local in-town customers know that Machine Gun Graphics is now Cotton Street Apparel, but is still owned by the same people.
Right.
Doing the exact same quality of work.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so the goal with that is to slowly switch over that branding over time.
Yep.
What's really interesting is that I get leads from both websites still.
Yeah.
So I get leads from the Machine Gun Graphics one, and I get leads from Cotton Street Apparel. It got to the point where I started realizing this almost instantaneously, that the leads coming from Cotton Street Apparel were way more valuable than the leads that were coming from Machine Gun Graphics.
Interesting, yeah.
So I started keeping a tally on my desk because I'm weird like that.
Yeah.
Too competitive. So I started keeping a tally on my desk of each one, and about 90% of the leads that come from Cotton Street Apparel pan out and turn into an invoice and follow through and close. About 15% of what comes through Machine Gun Graphics is actually a closed business. And the rest of it's all junk. And it goes to show you the caliber of customer that is looking your way
on your marketing,
based on a name.
And I will say that too. I just got a new website for Snatch and Run in January, and we rebranded like all pink, all female empowerment, whatever. And now the clients that come in as a result of my website want to pay more. They appreciate what we are. It's just like very much life-changing.
And I don't get much pushback. We are more expensive than most of the shops in our town, but there's a reason for that. But I don't get much pushback on our pricing under Cotton Street Apparel either.
Honestly, I think
used to get it.
Yeah, I think COVID had an effect on that as well. I think people just realized that things are harder to get.
Yeah.
And that they just were like, okay, prices are up.
Yeah.
So, I did have one customer this week try to pay me pennies for shirts, and I was like, nah.
Yeah, they don't know, and this is the sad part is that that's, the unfortunate aspect. I noticed this a lot where we're at. You had a lot of people that still owned garage shops. They were a little bit older, and they took COVID as their time to say, we're done with this. We want to retire. We don't want to do it anymore. The unfortunate side of that is that they did not charge enough to begin with. And we saw a lot of those new customers, which is awesome. but then we're double the price.
Yeah.
And they think we're price gouging them because this person never charged what they should have charged. So we've had to spend a lot of time being very open and very honest with our customers, which I am very happy to do.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you know what? Your garment actually costs this much. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah, your
this
garment's
would-
increased 100%.
Yeah, this is
And-
what it actually takes to print it.
To give you guys full credit, you are a water-based shop, right? So like, or you do a lot of water-based.
We do a lot. We
a lot of water-based.
80% water-based.
80%
The rest
water-based.
is Plastisol. Like, we will never walk away from Plastisol.
Yeah, but that is it's more labor-intensive process, or it is, to me it is, because you got to keep things going.
It is, yeah.
Setups, tears downs. There's times
You guys are good at it.
You
now.
have to be.
Might not feel like it.
You have to be dialed in. Just put it that
I'm
way.
not
You have
good
to be
at
dialed
it.
in.
I like Plastisol. but-
Plastisol is very forgiving.
Yeah, it is. And
Water
there's
base
nothing
is
wrong with
not forgiving.
it. It depends on what you're doing.
It depends, but yeah. So listen, I
Just come
struggle.
by the shop.
I struggle with
It's not, it
water-based.
is hard. It is hard. There's a lot of factors that you have to dial in.
Yeah.
There's things you have to think about. Like,
Setup teardown is the worst. Like if you're not dialed in on your setup,
yeah,
then you're gonna dry out.
yeah.
Right off. right
I
off
was
the bat.
telling her this morning, I mean, if we have a 10 color job, and I was shocked when I learned this the other day, actually, because again, I'm not down there anymore, so I don't know what they do anymore. If we have a 10 color job, they literally pop it in. They start the run with 3 test prints, and the rest of the run is running right behind that. And they're barely touching micros anymore.
Wow.
They're
That's
just
amazing.
starting and going. So what's happening is when we're doing water-based printing, they're putting the inks in as they're testing each individual shirt. So they're not
Well,
really
that's a
truly
great
stopping.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Dialed in. Process is dialed in.
Yes.
You just can't wing water based and think you're going to be great at it.
Yeah. It takes time.
It does take time.
Anybody can learn how to do it. You just have to have the patience.
But that justifies pricing as well.
Yes.
I feel like it does. And then you probably are higher quality garments. Are you gearing your business more towards like the AS colors and the lane streets and all the other whatever?
Not
they are?
really. Our business is across the board. I mean, I could be printing like a Gildan 2000 today, and I could be printing Cotton Heritage tomorrow. I just printed
Yeah.
Cotton Heritage yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? $10 blanks.
Yeah.
So
no, I
it's
know.
like-
yeah.
Yeah, we get everything.
All over.
Yeah.
Okay.
My ADD brain, I
Cool.
just had a random question. I saw the other day you were at Steak 48.
Oh my God.
How
And I
was
just
it?
learned there's one in Charlotte.
There is one in
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna go broke.
Was it that good?
Yeah. Okay. So they bring you this plate.
Uh-huh.
They tell you not to touch it. They say it's like 500 degrees.
Right.
I don't know because I didn't touch it. So they bring out your plate, set it down in front of you. It's got your steak on it. And then they start bringing out the sides, which are served family style. They divvy them out to everybody individually. And literally, like, it was still sizzling on the plate.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have a video.
sounds so good.
Have you been-
I'm really hungry
I
this
sent
week.
it, listen, I sent it to Dylan.
Oh, he
just
loves
so he could
steak,
draw.
yeah.
I know. But the cool thing about that experience is that, like, your food stayed hot and warm throughout your entire
Yeah.
meal, so we could all kind of stop and chat. And
Yeah.
I know I'm going to go to the one in Charlotte now.
So I was
Coffee girl.
in Wilmington last week, just trying to get away for the weekend, and there was a Ruth Chris across the street, and I'm like, that's like, if are we like, there's a Ruth Chris right there. We're just
Yeah.
going. We're gonna go because it's right there, and like, I don't even want to experiment with trying to find a place.
Yeah.
Hop on the Yelp or whatever and try to find a place that's great, and then it's not always what it's cracked up to be, but you know what you're getting at Ruth Chris, which is basically
Right.
the same thing. You're just your 500 degree plate with your sizzling steak.
Yeah.
and,
I don't know.
You can't
Nobody
walk
has
out of there
ever
less than
compared to
$200.
Ruth Chris to a Steak 48 before.
Well, I've never been to a Steak 48, so.
I've never been to a Ruth's Chris before.
But the hot
It's
plate thing
good.
is the one thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's where.
Everyone that I know that's gone to Steak 48 has the same thing. They're like, oh my God, it was great.
Okay. Well, that's on my list then.
Yeah.
Because you can't walk out of.
You better sell
is
some
the same
t-shirts.
true? Is the same true? You can't walk out of there less than $200, like
Yeah.
for 2 people, less.
I don't know if $200
I
would
think
even
would be
do
more
it.
than that.
Yeah, even more than that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
We should just get bougie one night and go.
Yeah.
Let's
we can do
let's
that.
do it. So are
Screen
we,
printer
GPX.
steak
GPX.
night, just like Dylan. We make our own steak
GPX?
night.
Let's just do Graphics Pro Expo Steak Night.
Yes.
I
that's
love
it.
this
That's what we're
idea.
doing. We're all going to Steak 48.
Steak 48 at the Graphics Pro Expo. So, back to you. special guest.
I feel like that was like a ESPN
That was
sports
that was
reporter
a
thing going on there.
back to the guest. Stop small talking. No, just kidding. So let's talk real quick about where we can maybe see Print Girl Mafia. See you. Are you doing anything at any of the local shows coming up?
We are. So we're gonna do a happy hour at the Graphics Pro Expo in Charlotte.
And that's your podcast name.
That's our podcast
And not
name.
sponsoring free beer.
No, unfortunately not. We're
Not
not
yet.
there yet.
Yeah. We're not there either.
We're waiting on a big sponsor to give us that much money.
Yep.
And then I think the three of us are on a panel.
Yes.
Yes, my first panel.
I don't know what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be
Yeah.
awesome.
What can
Yeah.
I expect on these panels?
Is it Q&A? Is it like,
Kinda.
is there...
It's Q&A based with a hope that it can become discussion.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
That makes sense.
And it's, yeah, I kind of did a little bit of a dive on that, and there are kind of specific industry topics, and
Yes.
each show that you go to is related to a certain specific. It's not always just screen printing, right?
So the
Graphics
last
Pro
one that we
Expos.
did, I think it was in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. The last one we did was kind of based around being a smaller shop and growing, and some different obstacles that we've all faced and how you can kind of take that next step up. So most of the people that were in the room on that one are people that own smaller shops, and they're trying to figure out how to get to that next level.
Oh, cool.
And so Graphics Pro Expo is in Charlotte this year.
Yes.
And so that's going to
Well,
be a
one of
nice
them
little-
is.
One of them is.
One
But
of
the
them.
one that's in Charlotte, I
Yeah.
guess, is going to be recently. It's coming up soon, right? April?
April
27th.
20th,
Yeah, it's
something.
27th.
27th?
Yeah, 27th and 28th.
So we're all three on the panel. There's like four other people on the panel, and
Christina's
we'll
on it.
post that information. Who else is on it? The guy Toby from Shirt Lizard.
I can't remember.
Toby
the
from
two.
Shirt Lizard, and
there's
then
a couple of-
Christina is where's her shop at?
Varsity down in Florida.
And she's
Florida,
in Print
that's
Girl
right.
Mafia as well, right?
She's yep. And did you guys both did Fort Worth too as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you both the original OGs? Is that
So there's 9 of us that
There's
are.
9 of us,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's 9 of us that are the original OGs.
awesome?
And then you're doing your podcast, the Happy Hour podcast. We're doing our podcast
Yeah.
there.
Right from the show. So
yeah.
come see us do the podcast.
Yeah.
Both of our shows.
Yeah.
It should be fun.
Yeah. And then we've already decided we're doing steak night.
Yeah. Steak
yeah.
48.
So if you want to come buy a steak, that would
Yes,
be awesome too.
we'll have the Venmo scan right there.
That's right.
Just be ready.
Add to the steak
Be
fund.
ready for the cost. Save up like a month's worth. Just kidding.
So I know that there is a happy hour though, sponsored for that event. The one night there.
Graphics
So
Pro. It's on Thursday night.
Is it
I
a
don't-
Thursday night?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't remember. It's one of the places right close to the convention
Oh,
center. But it is
fun.
on Thursday night.
yep. So there'll be that as well. So
I'm going to be off the cleanse then.
hopefully, yeah, that's good.
I've got a hotel room. If you need to, I know you're so close to Charlotte, but I'm just
Right.
saying.
Yeah.
If you need to crash,
Yeah,
I will.
The Uber back to Rock Hill.
is it expensive?
It's expensive.
I'm in Lake Wiley.
It's so crazy. In LA, we talked about being in LA, Long Beach, and the Uber there was so much. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to rent a car, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I get out there and I did an Uber or Lyft or whatever I ended up doing, and I was like, "But it's so much cheaper. I thought it would be 10 times more than here. For some reason, it's really expensive here.
Yeah. Well, Rock Hill, there's just not that many Uber drivers.
Probably, yeah. There's a lot of Uber Eats drivers though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we can't hire anybody anymore because
They all do Uber
They
Eats.
all
all
just
do
want to
Uber
do
Eats
that
and
on their free
DoorDash.
time.
That's why we
Yeah.
need robots.
We all need robots.
We
Yes,
all need robots to
Name
unload.
robots.
Yeah.
that's right. So where else can we see Print Girl Mafia?
So we'll
this?
be at Graphics Pro Indy, Graphics Pro Long Beach, ISS Fort Worth, Printing United, and Print Hustlers.
Print Hustlers,
Yeah,
wherever
So
that's going to be.
fun.
I'm looking forward to all of those places.
Me too.
They're fun to go to. If you've never been to a show, highly recommend. It doesn't matter. There's not a perfect one. It depends on. Honestly, I think the perfect one is the one closest to you. Just to get out to a show and experience it. There are some really big ones, and you can do your own research on that. But there is, definitely get to a show. Definitely see. I mean, gosh, you could go and the pressing the flesh. Print Girl Mafia started at a show.
You did. That's what I was just
Yep.
about to say. You
Pressing
never
the
know
flesh.
who you're going to meet or what dinner you're going to sit down and share information at that's going to make you go back to your shop and change something and be a better printer. I think
Yeah.
I learned something, whether it's for my business or whether it's for production. I learned something at every single show that I go to.
I think that's an important point. Like when you go to these shows, you just can't like take your little tote bag and get your show shirts and like not talk to anybody. Like
Yeah.
you got to put yourself out there a little bit and
Can we
get
talk
knowledge.
about, you said show shirts. Can we talk about real quick about show shirts? How do you
he's
feel
about to get
show
on
shirts?
his soapbox.
Listen, I have a soapbox about show shirts.
I don't really take them anymore because I don't need any more clothing in my closet.
That's how
I'm
we
too
feel, too.
ADHD for that.
So bad.
I've done so
They're
many
really
cleanouts.
bad shirts. Like it's not the quality. It's not the quality
I
of the
don't-
shirt. It's the fact that they're putting their logos. on
Well, and I
everything.
don't think it's
like
really
NASCAR.
the show shirt
It's
that
like-
lights you up, Jeremy. I think it's the fact that printers stand in line for these
That's
show
the thing
shirts.
that's most ridiculous. Like the most ridiculous thing in the world is going to a booth and having people stand in line for a shirt that's got whatever sponsor that booth is all over it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like octopuses with, all of them have octopuses or astronauts,
Yeah.
and they're all, I mean, like it drives me nuts. It's like, I mean, it's great. There's some really great art. Like Liquid Graphics had a really cool shirt in Long
Yeah.
Beach, right?
I
Really
did like
cool
the
shirt.
Monarch color shirt too.
The Monarch color shirt, but then there's
It was like eating a
it's like-
steak. He should have
Yeah.
put steak 48 underneath it or
have.
something.
But listen, there's like the one time there's a shirt there that was like, "This is my favorite shirt," right? Is what the logo said on it, right?
Yeah.
And it was a really nice shirt with a crappy Plastisol print on it from somebody that was doing live screen printing, and they didn't even cure it properly. And there's people waiting in line for that, and I'm like, you just freaking ruined the shirt.
Do you think though, so,
Give away the blanks.
but do you think that maybe they're waiting in line so they can get it and judge it secretly?
Maybe.
Because I'm telling you, anytime I'm at a store and I like want to buy a t-shirt, the first thing I do is pick it up and stretch it.
Yeah. I just feel
Same.
like.
Did
I
you
feel
know
like,
Aaron told me the stretch test isn't a good indicator of if the ink is dry?
I mean,
It's the first time in my life I had ever heard that
Works
because
for me.
even
It's a
Screen
starting
Printing
point.
101,
It's a starting point though.
Yeah.
first time in my life, and that's how we were taught in Screen Printing 101, like stretch the ink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not perfection,
Yeah.
but you know what? If I pick up a shirt and it's just like,
cracks
Yeah.
right away. You know it's not dry.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna like take it back to my shop and either put it under a heat press or stick it in the dryer.
Right.
Yeah.
Finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I want to start an initiative. So I want to eliminate bad shirt shows.
You want to call it
show
the
shirts.
Show
stretch
shirt.
test initiative?
I want to
Yeah.
start the
He
initiative.
wants cool shirts.
I want cool shirts. Like if you're gonna do a shirt, don't stick a freaking logo on it. Like
Shirts
do
101.
something. Cool Shirt 101 manufacturers out there.
daggers through birds.
Daggers. Listen, Rock. I feel like Rock does a good job because Rock is a trendy, cool name. I could talk all day about Rock, but they do a cool job in that. Their style of shirts that they're giving away are pretty neat, right?
Yeah.
Liquid Graphics did a really good job at the Rock booth, the last one I was
Are
at.
all these people paying you?
No, I'm not. But come on, man.
He's like, they should
Print
be.
Hustlers had Print Hustlers on it with a cow head.
Yeah.
And
You
people
didn't
were
like that
waiting in
one?
lines. People were waiting in line for it.
Oh,
though.
but
That's
I
the
like.
thing.
Oh, I didn't have to wait in line. It was just handed to me. But
Well,
I
that's because you're in the
actually-
mafia. They're afraid of getting
you
off.
got the inside track, right? Yeah, they want to piss off.
I liked that one.
I don't know. I just thought, like, why are we waiting in line for this?
I don't. You
It's
know
a
what,
bunch
though?
of screen printers getting a screen printed shirt. Like,
I don't wait in line at shows for shirts.
But you know
Yeah.
what? I really like. Even this weekend, we went to Folly Beach. I bought 3 T-shirts while I was
Yeah.
down there. Like I just love T-shirts.
maybe it's just me.
even though I have a
I don't
ton.
know.
did you
I
make
can't
sure
stop.
they were cured?
I didn't. I was just like, oh, I love.
I heard
this.
there's a lot of like Taylor Swift fans that are really unhappy right now.
Oh,
Really?
really?
Oh, did you hear about this?
No.
So
I'm
apparently,
just trying to get tickets for my daughter and
$2
me
grand.
secretly. I know I
Apparently-
can't do that.
I would hate to be the shop that printed these. Let me see this first. So apparently they had a $75 hoodie, and the print was washing off within the very first wash.
Oh, guys.
And I don't even want to know how many hoodies were sold at that, I would hate to be the print shop
Okay.
that has to deal with that. But all I know is what's happening now, because somebody went onto the forums for Taylor Swift, and I assume it's a parent that's a screen printer or someone that's a screen printer, and they said in the forum, find your local screen printing shop and let them run it through their dryer
Yeah.
under their heat press. So now every time she plays a show somewhere, people are getting calls
Wild.
for shops.
Yeah.
And one shop said that
I'm surprised it's probably China.
We should go
It's probably
stand
somebody in
outside
China.
of one and charge some money
Yes.
with our
We
heat press.
should.
That's it.
So one shop got a call.
F the podcast.
Yeah,
We're
seriously.
done.
We're
Last
done.
show. We're
so
going to Tay Tay.
One shop got a call, and they said, "Yeah, we'll do it for $20." And the lady was like, "No, you should do this for free." And I was
Why?
like, "Why should they? They didn't."
No,
print
and
that."
if you ruin it or something and make it too shiny, or
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
not want to do that.
Yeah.
But
The
So-
guy that calls from Pakistan, that's the guy who probably did it, right?
probably,
Every
but I
single-
really like secretly want to know what shop did it
Yeah.
because I feel bad for them.
hit us up on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah, hit me up. Let me know. I won't out you, but I really want to know.
Yeah. Wow.
So this has been a great episode.
Yes, I
but
think so.
we always do like a 30-second. Like, do you want to talk about Print Girl Mafia or Cotton Street Apparel? Like, 30-second
so- You got
elevator
30
pitch.
like elevator pitch on whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, so Print Girl Mafia,
To Sally.
if you want to join us, anyone can follow our Instagram account. We have a closed Facebook page. All you've got to do is answer a couple of questions, and you'll be led into an awesome group of ladies that will provide you all the love,
I love
support,
that forum.
and help that you need.
It's great.
Cotton Street Apparel, Instagram and Facebook at Cotton Street Apparel. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
I didn't want to interrupt, but I don't love it because I'm not allowed on it. So
Sorry. We still love you, though.
I know. Thank you. Thank you.
We don't hate you.
No, I know. I just want to be a part of the cool stuff.
I know.
I'm just not a fan of this one guy in this one unnamed group that decided to go after us. But
There's
that's
always
cool.
trolls.
Somebody came after you guys. Oh, wow.
And there's always,
always a troll.
but that's what I said. I said, you know, you've made it when your haters start coming out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I just can't wait for that.
I
I can't wait for that for this. Like, you guys suck.
You should
Shirt
say,
show wannabes.
just be
Yeah,
like,
you'll just call them and burp in their voicemail.
we do love Shirt Show, though.
No
Yeah,
ink for
we
you.
do.
I love Shirt Show. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
great. Like, they're the OGs.
Yeah.
They are the OGs.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Thanks, Dylan and Andy.
Thank you guys.
Love you guys.
You paved
Come
the way
eat
for
steak
us.
with us.
Oh, Dylan, yeah. Steak 48. Dylan, you missed out, and I'm so sorry.
All right. Well, thank
thank
you,
you.
Nikki.
Thank you, guys.
And until next time,
Cheers.
cheers.
Yeah.